Artifact mogs were broken for a bit.
Yeah, I didn't notice, but I noticed it wasn't working, but I didn't notice it was broken because I just assumed that system's always broken anyway.
Yeah, so was it like doing two-handers onto one-handers?
Yeah, two-handed artifact
work,
weapons on one-handers, which is honestly really cool as far as I'm concerned, because it means there's like no capacity for me to use the silver hand as a holy paladin because I'm one-hand shield all the way.
Oh yeah.
But I can transmog it, so I can run around with the the book on the belt and the silver hand, which I think is cool. But it's it broke, and it was a bug, which I think, if there's anything to say about this, it's this game is really complicated. Like, as far as I'm aware, they didn't really do anything to transmog in 9.0.5. No one picked it up on like PTR enough to have it fixed in time. It was just like, yeah, here you go. This just broke for some reason, but at least they can fix it. So that's
I think it just shows that the artifact system it's like it's still paying dividends. They are really cool weapons to get and unlock shit for. If only more expansions did things like this. Then you start up a new character, you're like, oh, okay, I've started up a new character, so I've got to go do my class order haul, get my class mount, get my artifacts, and then I've got to do all of my stuff from all the other expansions for this character, but, that stuff doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show what a great, like, at least from a cosmetic angle, what a great system it was. And it does make me wonder why they've been so lax on the collection gameplay as of late. It feels odd to me. It's like they've put a bunch of work into the customizations, but like for me personally, I just want shit to do in game like this. Yeah. So here's the hoping there's more on the horizon. I mean, class sets are coming back, we believe anyway. Yeah. Actually, that'll be an incredible way to know if this X-Pack's fallen off the rails. Because I'm pretty sure they said that, yeah, we really, we want to do that for a Shadowlands patch. So if class sets don't come for a Shadowlands patch, we could be in a bit of a pickle. That said, I actually think they will, because the new raid just uses the Domination cosmetic set, which is what your Legos are right now. So they actually don't have to make any more armor sets, like raid armor sets, for the new patch. They're for Chains of Domination. They were already made, Dynamite in beta and alpha.
Yeah. I imagine they'll still have to do work on weapons and stuff to
yes.
match that general theme. But yeah, you're right. I think that's class sets, because this is something that struck me while you were talking there about how the Domination gear makes sense to be coming from the Sanctum of Domination, of course, 100%. But class sets, previously and for the past while, gear has been apropos of where it drops. So the gear, raid gear looks like it's from this raid. They did that for BFA. So I'm wondering, are they going to attempt that with class sets in a sense where they're trying to make them, instead of like, the Antora stuff where it's kind of a little bit vaguely demony sometimes where it can fit, but it's obviously not, because I mean, like the Palantir set was nothing like any of that. So I wonder if they're trying to, if whatever raid they have planned for 9.2 or whenever they plan class sets will actually just be, here's a really cool, interesting place that has the potential to bring you class sets. I wonder if that's part of their thinking or not. Almost just me in my head getting excited about what the next raid could be, honestly.
Yeah, then I kind of think like, hang on, you guys could do a set of class sets every single tier. Oh, and also a new tier every tier. Why can you no longer do that anymore? Where's the art went? I don't feel like I felt it as a player. Bit weird. Yeah, I mean, they're also, what was the news you cover in tomorrow's video? They're hiring a bunch of them as well. Oh, they're hiring a bunch of artists. Yeah, actually, okay, we can't do it there, but it's basically, we don't need to bring the tweet up anyway. Yeah. So treat this as a new little bit of news segment. So Blizzard said that they're hiring a whole bunch of artists, and it was basically like, it was like an associate director, and then loads of like associate through senior art positions and a whole bunch of things on the Warcraft team. So I guess there's more artists on the way.
I think it says to me they're definitely aware of the problem, if nothing else, they're definitely like, all right, we need to upscale this pretty quick. And as far as we can tell, it's not been like as a result of departures or anything. Like, it might be a result of like some maybe moving between projects, but there's none of that we've seen. So it's just, hello, can we have like 10, 12, 15, something in that range?
Yeah.
Can we just have can we have like 500 grand a year worth of new artists, please?
500 grand a year. 500 grand's going to get you nowhere.
I suppose, yeah, I'm thinking that's actually probably $1 million a year, actually. For those...
With the amount of listings that they put there, it would surely be more.
So I'm kind of thinking about it as 10. Maybe it's closer to like 12 or 15, is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if they were hiring like multiple people per role. Like, hey, we
right,
want a whole bunch of associate artists. Come join us.
I assumed that was just going to be 10, 12 staff, but no, maybe it's...
No, I mean, hopefully it's a lot more than that. I mean, not that I know what they need. All I know is that as a player, I feel like I would like some more armor sets and things.
So there's maybe there's a headline for us. Blizzard or World of Warcraft team invests millions in new artists. There you go.
God, that's one way to spin it. Wow, that is such a way to title that. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right, I guess we can.
But yeah, hopefully they do.
Yeah, it would be well needed.
There is one viewer question, just a quick little one here that I wanted to bring up from JP, who says 500k gets you nowhere with artists. If you work 8 hours a day, 5 artists getting 100k, get off your lazy ass and draw. To which the reason why I brought that comment up is I think it takes so much more time, and there are so many more parts of the pipeline than people would actually understand. And I don't mean that in a condescending way whatsoever. Yeah. So, I mean, for an example there, there's people I know would say even like just knowing a bit like the Paleopine stuff, you know, a full 3D pipeline and the other game and stuff. And even on the game, it's not the first game that we're doing, but the game that we basically did via NI Screen's platform program, which, you know, that was in 3D. So, you know, we had like a baby's first 3D pipeline essentially there. But the thing is, you need a lot of people to do that. Now, 3D overall is cheaper than 2D once you get it set up because, man, your ability to reuse assets and stuff. I mean, we have like, what, 8 characters and a whole bunch of emotes for all of them. Drawing all of those emotes takes such a long amount of time. But the point here is that you might think 500k, so what, 5 artists and 100 grand a year? I mean, that's, I guess, 5 very senior artists. Yeah. But the thing there is, for a 3D model to exist, well, that is going to exist based off very high-level concept art that is probably done by the lead concept artist. And that's, you know, a bunch of time and stuff. But then for the actual 3D asset that is being made, it will need its 2D art first. And what that 2D art is usually going to be is a turnaround. So it will be whatever is being made in, you know, whatever, camera angles, you know, so front view, side view, top-down view, as well as a guide for the artist who is implementing that into 3D of, you know, whatever they need to know, basically, right? So 3D turnarounds, or, you know, turnarounds. And then that is going to have to go to a modeler, and they're going to have to sculpt model it, right? And then, you know, they're going to have to make sure all the UVs are right. It's got to be textured. That's a whole bunch of work. If it's something that moves, it's got to be rigged. And often, you know, your modeler might not be your rigger or whatever. So it's not like you can just sit there and, you know, make a 3D model and put it in the game and expect it to work. You're going to, I mean, then of course there's optimizing the model and ensuring it's actually fit for going in the game. Which is all just to say, it takes way more time than people think to make this stuff. And
not even just time, but also like loads of specific effort that you wouldn't imagine until you actually watch the thing. Because I remember kind of I wasn't surprised because I kind of knew that stuff was all done, but it was the Wandering Ancient thing at BlizzCon Online where like, hello, here's what we did for this. And they clearly spent so much time and effort and care into getting how this tree moved correctly, with like spending days out filming for animation references for all that stuff for very specific movements. It's like, it's not quite as simple as back in the day when, you know, you look at one of the first World of Warcraft bears and, you know, or even like the Druid Maul, and it's just like, roar, or an attack is.
Yeah.
It's a lot more involved. It ends up taking like hours of research into what they actually look like, what they move like.
Yeah.
And that's a whole thing. Like,
and then even just in terms of technical implementation, one of those old bears, I mean, the number of that rig will have been so simple as compared to a modern World of Warcraft rig. And a rig, by the way, is to really try to make it very simple. It's like the skeleton, like the bones, the bits that like move, and there are various different, you know, controllers, you know, setting up the IK, you know, constraints to be right, and all of that stuff. There's a lot in rigging. There really is a lot in rigging. It's it's very involved. But like that stuff just takes so much time, and it's also the sort of thing I think that as World of Warcraft's graphical fidelity and player expectations, as that stuff has increased, it's just got harder and harder and harder for them to actually make all that shit. I mean, if you're making stuff for the old pre-WoD, like WoW character models, easy. It's not going to take you anywhere near as long as these new ones. These new ones that have got super exaggerated, way more detailed, way more controls going on in their faces and stuff. It's so much more work, I believe, for Blizzard to actually make art assets that you see in the game. It is so much more work and so much more expensive now than it would have been 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, when perhaps they would have had like maybe slightly lower standards, because they always will want to push their standards up. So it's that thing where the Blizzard, you know, their team could be going like this, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but also the amount of time that it would actually take for them to implement stuff in game is also going to be increasing, to the point where you can, have a larger team making less content, even though it looks great. So tricky stuff.